Two-thirds of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH title.
Meghan Markle's recent podcast appearance has ignited a firestorm that threatens to unravel her carefully curated public image and, more significantly, her royal status. On April 28, 2025, Meghan stepped into uncharted territory as a guest on the Jamie Kern-Lima show, marking her first podcast appearance not as a host but as a guest. The episode was meant to showcase her vulnerability, resilience, and empowerment, hallmarks of her personal brand. However, the execution fell flat, drawing widespread criticism for its overly polished, almost theatrical tone. Her delivery felt rehearsed, lacking the authenticity listeners expected from a conversation about struggle and personal growth. Social media erupted, with detractors calling her performance robotic and contrived, while supporters argued she was simply misunderstood, her emotions genuine despite the polished veneer. The moment that truly set the internet ablaze came when Meghan appeared to cry during the podcast. Her voice cracked, her eyes squinted, and she paused for dramatic effect, but not a single tear fell. This dry cry moment became the focal point of scrutiny. Megyn Kelly, a vocal critic of Meghan, dissected the clip on her own platform, labeling it a calculated performance rather than a genuine display of emotion. The backlash was swift and merciless. A tweet that garnered thousands of likes summed up the sentiment: "She's acting like it's a Disney audition, not a podcast." While some fans rushed to her defense, insisting her emotional display was heartfelt, the broader public reaction leaned toward skepticism, with many questioning whether Meghan's tears were real or just another act in her ongoing public narrative. Compounding the podcast fallout, Meghan's behavior in other spheres added fuel to the fire. Shortly after the episode aired, she and Prince Harry were spotted at a Beyond concert in California. Meghan appeared carefree, dancing and posing for photos, while Harry looked visibly uncomfortable, almost detached, as if he were out of his element in the glitzy California scene. The contrast between Meghan's buoyant demeanor and Harry's apparent unease sparked further speculation about their dynamic and their life away from the royal fold. Critics pointed to this moment as evidence of Harry's growing discomfort with the Hollywood lifestyle Meghan seems to embrace so fully. Meghan's own podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, didn't help her case. The series, intended to highlight her journey as an entrepreneur, was widely panned for being out of touch. In one episode, she described the challenges of school drop-offs with a gravity that some listeners compared to summiting Mount Everest, prompting eye rolls from those who found her struggles unrelatable. But the real misstep came with a seemingly small but explosive detail. Meghan sent a gift basket to the Jamie Kern-Lima show's host, accompanied by a card signed, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. This was a direct violation of the agreement made when she and Harry stepped back from royal duties in 2020, which explicitly barred them from using the HRH title for commercial purposes. The move was seen as a brazen attempt to cling to royal prestige, and it sent the British media into a frenzy. Headlines accused Meghan of flouting royal protocol, with some calling it a deliberate provocation. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just as the podcast controversy was gaining traction, Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, spoke out from the Philippines, publicly pleading for reconciliation and the chance to meet his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. His emotional appeal was met with silence from Meghan, further fueling perceptions of her as cold and dismissive of family ties. The public's patience, already wearing thin, began to erode further. Polls conducted in the UK revealed that nearly two-thirds of Brits now support stripping Harry and Meghan of their royal titles entirely, a sentiment that has been building for years but seems to have reached a tipping point. As if the situation weren't volatile enough, Prince Harry escalated matters with a bombshell interview on the BBC. Fresh off a legal defeat in his battle to retain taxpayer-funded security for visits to the UK, Harry didn't hold back. He expressed frustration over the ruling, arguing that the lack of adequate protection made it impossible for his family to return to the UK safely. Then came the jaw-dropping moment. Harry drew parallels between his situation and that of his late mother, Princess Diana, hinting that the royal establishment might not want him alive. The implication that the monarchy could allow history to repeat itself with tragic consequences sent shockwaves through the palace and the public. Royal insiders scrambled to contain the fallout, with sources describing the palace as blindsided by Harry's audacious claims. Harry's interview didn't stop there. He spoke wistfully about missing the UK and wanting his children to experience the country of his upbringing, but he insisted that such visits would require security on par with that of a former prime minister, a demand critics deemed entitled for someone who voluntarily relinquished his royal duties. Reports surfaced that King Charles had offered Harry lodging at Buckingham Palace, complete with full protection, but Harry declined, preferring terms that suited his preferences. This refusal only deepened the perception that Harry wants the privileges of royalty without the responsibilities. Critics argued he can't have it both ways, stepping away from the monarchy, profiting from public criticisms via Netflix specials and memoirs, and then expecting royal-level security on demand. The interview took an even darker turn when Harry commented on his father's health, casually noting that he didn't know how long King Charles has left. The remark, made amid Charles' ongoing health challenges, was widely condemned as insensitive and cruel. To make matters worse, Harry's legal battle against the Home Office over his security arrangements has created a unique complication. Because he is suing a government department, King Charles is legally barred from discussing the matter with him, turning a family dispute into a courtroom drama. The High Court has ruled against Harry twice, affirming that the decision to downgrade his security was both legal and justified, citing proper procedures and the reduced risk profile of a non-working royal. Yet Harry persists, arguing that the committee failed to adequately assess the specific threats he and Meghan face, from tabloid harassment to risks tied to his military service. Meghan, meanwhile, continues to stir controversy. Sources claim she regularly uses the HRH title in private correspondence, including letters to friends, associates, and podcast contacts, despite the explicit ban. This quiet defiance has only deepened the palace's frustration, with insiders suggesting it reflects Meghan's obsession with maintaining a royal persona, even as she distances herself from the institution. The gift basket incident wasn't a one-off. It was a calculated move that many see as emblematic of her refusal to fully let go of her royal identity. Her brother, Thomas Markle Jr., added to the drama with a scathing interview predicting that Meghan would leave Harry the moment their titles are stripped, a claim that, coming from a family member, carried extra weight despite its speculative nature. The palace, traditionally guided by the mantra, "never complain, never explain," is struggling to maintain its composure. Harry's public accusations, particularly his suggestion of an establishment stitch-up regarding his security, have been interpreted as a direct attack on the monarchy's integrity. Meghan's actions haven't helped. Hours after Harry's interview aired, she posted a carefully curated Instagram photo of him and their children in their Montecito garden, projecting an idyllic California life. The timing was unmistakable, a deliberate message to the palace that she and Harry are thriving without them. Royal insiders called it a provocative gesture, one that underscored the growing rift between the Sussexes and the monarchy. Prince William, in particular, is said to be at his breaking point. Sources claim he despises Meghan and Harry for their repeated public attacks and their monetization of their royal connection, while simultaneously criticizing the institution. The pressure is mounting for decisive action. Polls reflect a public increasingly fed up with the couple's behavior, with 2/3 of Brits favoring the complete removal of their titles. For Meghan, the stakes are enormous. Her brand, built on the allure of her royal status, could falter without the Duchess title. Her podcast deals, book projects, and influencer status all rely heavily on the royal fairy tale she's crafted. Stripping her title could unravel that narrative overnight. The decision now rests with King Charles and Prince William. Will they take the unprecedented step of revoking Harry and Meghan's titles, severing their last formal tie to the monarchy? Behind the scenes, Meghan is reportedly rattled, aware that the loss of her title could jeopardize her carefully constructed public persona. Harry, too, faces a precarious future, caught between his desire for independence and his lingering attachment to the UK. The palace, once content to let the Sussex fade into the background, now faces a reckoning. The question remains, will they deliver the ultimate royal punishment, or will Harry and Meghan find a way to salvage their titles and their place in the royal narrative? The answer will shape their future and the monarchy's for years to come.